Hello there, gang. Welcome to the 30. I am your host, Patrick. Thank you for joining us on today. I am certainly glad that you decided to be part of the broadcast. We have something very special in store for you. The 30, as you know, is a weekly broadcast where we focus on providing valuable information to help you, our viewers and listeners, enhance your personal, professional, and business lives. So we are streaming live. If you want to get this broadcast, we're streaming live right now to LinkedIn, to YouTube, as well as to Facebook. If you're watching it in replay, certainly thank you. Make sure that you drop a comment. If you have any questions for our upcoming guests, make sure that you go ahead and drop those comments in the comments box. Or if you just want to say hi, if you just want to give us a shout out, you are more than welcome to do that. So last week was an exciting week. I did something a little bit different because I wanted to focus on winning and success. And I did part one of our title, So You Want to Win. We all, as I said last week, we all love winning. We all love to have that win in our pocket. But I talked about some specific things that we all need to do in order to win or to achieve our goals. And I give you 4 distinct areas or concepts, and I give you those 2, but I'm going to give you 2 more. So I want you to mark your calendar for May 11th, where we're going to specifically focus again on the second part of So You Want to Win. And I'm going to give you the last 2 pieces or categories that we're going to focus on for those that want to win or those that want to succeed in the areas that you desire to be. But today we are going to kind of pivot. We're going to make the switch. And today we're going to focus on branding. We're going to focus on branding and design. And I have a very special guest who is an expert in both areas, branding and designing. So I'm going to bring her in right now. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself. And I know she has some great information because we were speaking backstage. And I can't wait to hear her insights. So welcome, Toni.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Patrick. I'm fine. I'm doing great. That was a wonderful introduction.
Well, thank you. Tell our viewers who you are and what you do, Toni.
Mhm. My name is Toni Brown, and I help leaders and women, and I work with nonprofits. I help them to build their brands. And so that includes helping them to craft concise and clear messaging. It also means creating visuals that are compelling and really tell the story of that brand. I do that through photo shoots, video shoots, websites, brand identities. That wasn't always my goal to get into branding and marketing, but it just kind of fell on me.
That's awesome. So what did you do before this? Let's go back a little and talk about the before story.
Uh, my before story is so opposite of what I'm doing now. It's just funny even to tell it, but I wanted to be a paralegal. So I had jobs in the legal field. I was an executive assistant. I was a legal EA. I just really wanted to be in the legal field. I didn't want to be an attorney, but I did want to be in the legal field. So I came from a corporate background working in law firms, and I did that for a while. But I used to look out the window and just see people walking on the street. And I used to think, I say, what are they doing? Where are they going? Like, people aren't at work. Where are they going? And I just wanted to be outside. I didn't necessarily want to have an office job. I enjoyed the job, but I just felt like it was more that I could do. And so when I had my daughter, that really was the motivation that I needed, because I didn't want her to be a latchkey kid. I wanted to be home for her. And when she got home, I wanted to be there. So that really just put some fire in me to try to figure out what I wanted to do. And so when the internet just kind of it just blew up, and website design and all of that, I just was so intrigued with making instant changes on the back end that people could see on the front end on the computer. So I wanted to get into that.
Very nice. So legal to branding and marketing.
Yes.
That's a
It's a
huge
jump.
difference. Yeah. Now,
Yes.
did you have any training in branding and marketing?
No, initially I didn't. I used to I taught myself how to use Photoshop, and I used to do like a bunch of Photoshop tutorials. And I went through website platform after website platform trying to find the right one that really married my technical side with my creative side. And I landed on WordPress, and that is what I do everything in. And it really marries my technical side and my creative side, and it's easy for clients to update. So that was very important for me. And I also got mentorship from a developer who was in the Midwest, and he taught me how to code and use HTML and CSS, and that really just supercharged my web design skills. But I didn't go to school, but I kind of learned. It was hands-on training.
That's great. And how long have you been in business now, Toni?
Um, Between 11 and 12 years.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So not only did you have to learn in some new skills, right? But you also had to learn about business and operating in a business.
Oh yeah. Hmm. Yes.
So let's talk about that transition. What was that like?
I didn't know what was missing. So I would create invoices in Microsoft Word. I would do everything manually. I would send out contracts manually, do invoices in Microsoft Word, and it just was too much managing of the back end when I wanted to be a designer. So I had to find the right client management system that could automate my onboarding and offboarding, and then just having an onboarding and offboarding process was something that, you're not just delivering a logo, you're delivering an experience. And it was important for my clients to have like this seamless experience with me. And so after some years, I settled on a client management system, and that is working for me today. I also needed a regular way to communicate with my clients. And other than that, for about the first few years of my business, I was not collecting emails. I had no clue about newsletters. I had no clue. But I wound up taking this business class online. It was for marketing and branding, and it taught you about all of those things. And I said, oh, I need subscribers. I need a newsletter. And and once I did, it made sense. I also blog. And that's I did that in the beginning, and then I stopped because I was doing so much designing, but I've gotten back to blogging because it shows more of what you're thinking, your thought leadership and things like that. And that's what people really want to know. They don't just want to know that you can do something. They want to know that you understand the logic behind what you do. And that's how blogging helps.
Wow. So you are a brand specialist or brand strategist
Hmm.
and a designer. What
Yes.
does that mean?
Brand strategy. So think of brand strategy as what a blueprint is to a building. And so you don't just construct a building without any type of plan, because otherwise you would have the kitchen where the bedroom is supposed to be. You would have the refrigerator outside. So just like a blueprint helps you to build a building in a way that makes sense, and it builds the foundation, then the beams, then everything else in between. That's what brand strategy does. It is your foundation, your plan for how you're going to have a successful brand. And brand strategy covers a few areas. What I focus on is brand messaging, brand storytelling, audience identification, competition, thought leadership, and sales strategy. So all of that is woven into brand strategy, because it's not enough to have something pretty. Pretty is not going to cut it. You have to have some type of logic, message, some type of vision, and results, and a voice and personality with how you are connecting with your audience. And so that's what brand strategy helps you to do. So then that's the first part. The next part is the design part. So I'm a graphic designer and a web designer, but design comes after you've strategized. So going back to that example of the blueprint in the building, you wouldn't buy a bunch of lighting and decorations for a building where there is no blueprint, because how do you know the lighting that you buy? How do you know that it's going to illuminate the room? You don't know because you've not measured the room. You've not measured the room because you have no blueprint to tell you that the room is however many feet it is. It's the same thing with building a brand without strategy. You don't know what the design is going to look like because you've not put context to it. You've not put any type of meat to your design. And so I like to use the example of, you have two fast food places that literally sell the same thing, but because of their strategy, one fast food place markets to families, while another fast food place markets to college kids. And even though they're selling maybe burgers, the strategy has dictated that they sell to two different groups, and so the visuals will look completely different. And so that's why brand strategy comes before the design, and that's why I describe myself as a brand strategist first and then a designer.
Very nice. So you have this all put together. That's great. So let's move on and talk about your clients. So I know in your bio and your LinkedIn profile, you said that you focus on nonprofits
Mhm,
and women leaders or women-owned businesses.
mhm.
So let's talk about that, and let's talk about why you chose those two markets.
Well, when it comes to working with women leaders, I work with clients that where the energy just vibes. And so because I feel that I'm a woman leader, and I mainly work with women of color, it's not necessarily by design, but my clients kind of choose me and then I choose them. It's like we come together. And so my clients who are women leaders, we have similar reasoning. We don't work in corporate America, or we want to get away from corporate America. We are in the stage where we want to put more of ourselves out there. We want to embody our expertise. We have a message, we have a vision, and we want people to know. So it's not really a demographic type of, I'm not looking at demographics. I'm looking at what the psychographics are like. Where are my clients in their brand development stage? And that is what helps me to serve them in the way that I do. And then with nonprofits have a really close place in my heart, because I started working with nonprofits when I started my business. And I just love the fact that in the commercial world, nonprofits, the name is kind of misleading because it's not a nonprofit. They just don't sell things per se. They have a mission that they want people to know. And I love mission oriented businesses. And so my heart is with them.
Great. And then how are you in terms of your clients? You said your clients choose you
Hmm.
first, and then you choose them.
Hmm.
So how do they know about you? And I'll say that I found out about you through a friend of ours in
Oh,
person, right?
okay.
And that is uh, so so that's how we connected. So, but how does your clients find you?
Hmm. Well, I'm on social media, but there are a lot of different brand strategists and designers out there. When you go to my social media profiles, you don't see me posting a lot of design. Um, and I think that's one difference, is that because my brand development process is so cerebral, usually what I'm showing is case studies, and those case studies can be seen on my website. But I am coming from an education perspective, and I want to educate my clients about the brand development process. I'm not worried about giving away secrets. I'm not worried about giving away processes. That is not my concern. I want a woman or a nonprofit or someone that is looking to build a brand, a strategic brand, and build with intention. I want them to see that on my social medias, I'm giving them strategies and tips and tricks on how to build a more authentic personal brand. So that is what you get from me when you look me up. Now you will see my designs, but usually the designs just come after the planning part, the strategy part of projects. And when I am talking to potential clients, whether on DM and social media or through emails, this is what I am talking to them about. And if they are ready for a strategic plan, if they want to build with intention, then that's where we can work together. So, but if they're looking for something purely visual, then maybe I'm not the person for them.
Got it. Got it. So it has to be a fit between
Yes. Oh,
them
absolutely.
and you.
Yes.
So what are some of the services? So, well, maybe I'll hold that. Let's take I'm going to take about a 10-second break, and then we'll come back. And I want to talk about some of the services that you offer. How do people get in contact with you? Then I
hmm
also want to go into some of the challenges that you've had
hmm
over the years. So 10 seconds, and we'll be right back with Toni. All right. Looks like that didn't work very well, but we're back. You got to love live, right?
Yes.
Uh, so, Toni, let's talk about um, what are some of the services that you offer? And again, I'm
hmm
talking to Toni Brown, and she is a brand strategist, and she does even more than that. She's also a designer. So if you have any comments or questions for Toni, drop it in the comments field. If you wanted to go into this business, you want to find out what are some of the challenges that Toni has had, you can also ask that question too to her. So Toni, let's talk about the services or products that you offer your clients.
hmm In terms of services, I don't necessarily look at brand development as a service that you can pick up and maybe put in your hypothetical brand basket. When I'm thinking of services in the brand development process, I'm thinking of an entire process. And so, because brand strategy, again, sets the blueprint for your brand strategy and messaging is always first in my process because that informs your audience, what you're going to be talking about, who you are, what your passions are, and then it sets up additional techniques and methods for you to continue to build your brand. After that, there is the brand identity process, which is the visual part. Everybody thinks about the logo, which is a part of the brand identity, but your brand identity is more than just your logo. Your brand identity consists of a visual environment that is going to distinguish you and your brand from other people in your field. So that is your color palettes, fonts, topography, your photography, just how all of those things inform visually how you're going to be presenting. So, for example, my wall is turquoise, not because I love turquoise, even though I do, but turquoise is one of my brand colors. And so it's not something that I just have because I live it. And after that is creative direction, where we are creating your brand photos and your video. And then after that, your all of those things go on your website. So you have your messaging, parts of your brand identity, like your logo, your colors, your fonts, and then your photos and video. All of that go on your website. And so I look at that as a complete brand development process.
Oh wow. So I love what you just said, because your wall is turquoise. It's
hmm
not because it's your favorite color. So my favorite color is blue.
hmm
You're saying that my brand should not necessarily be blue.
It depends. I mean, your
Okay.
favorite color, it can be in there, but you want colors that complement blue. Like the back of your wall, tan, blue, a gray, something like that. Just colors that bring everything together that are unique to you.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So let's move in now to some of the challenges, because you've been in business for 11 years, right? So we
Yes.
share a lot in common in terms of being in business. And I know that, well, maybe you are different. You probably had every year has been a great year so far, right?
Yes, right. Exactly.
Uh, so let's talk about some of the challenges that you've had over the years as you expand and build your business.
I think there are a lot, but I think that for if you're looking to be a designer or just in business, period, just understanding what your value is. And so, for example, I don't base pricing on hours. I base pricing on results, on deliverables, on what will it take to complete this entire project and really fulfill your vision. And I think that when you're starting your business, you really shortchange yourself. You say, I'm just starting a business. Nobody's going to hire me. I'm just going to just get people in the door at the lowest rate. And you know that really never works because think of yourself as a consumer. If you got the difference between a quote unquote low end shoe store and then a high end shoe store, they literally could sell the exact same shoe. But when you look at the high end store, you say, oh, it's more expensive. It must be quality. Whereas if you go to the low end shoe store, it's like, oh, this shoe is of cheap quality, even though they are the exact same shoes. And so it's the same thing in business. When you put a higher price on what you do, people automatically come to you different. You get different types of clients. You get clients that are more serious about their business because they're willing to put real significant money into it. And so that was one of my challenges creating, in the beginning, creating $50 logos and $500 websites. It's still money, yes. But when you look at what a website does and how a website can bring in clients, you can literally make 50,000 from a $500 website. So you undermine yourself when you lower your prices, whether you are selling books, clothes, whatever you're doing. When you um, devalue yourself and your pricing is cheap, people are automatically going to think that you have a cheap brand, and you do not want cheap to be associated with your brand at all. No discounts, no specials. It doesn't scream quality.
That's good. Great information. Thank you, Toni. So you mentioned something there that I
Mhm,
want you to expand on. That your pricing is based on results, right?
mhm,
What
yes.
does that expand on that, and how do you know that you've achieved the result
Mhm.
for the client?
So, so I don't charge by the hour because what it says is I will only work for you for as many hours as you pay me for. And
Mhm.
so even though I know that it's going to take 20 hours to do this, because your budget only says you can afford 10 hours, then you're not going to get the full um, uh, result. We're not going to be able to finish your project in the way that it deserves to be finished because your budget is short.
Mhm.
So that's why I don't trade time for money, because it doesn't allow the client to get the full scope of their project done, and it forces you to rush so that you can work within this budget. um, when it comes to results, when I have my client, well, first my client's reaction already is the result that I'm looking for, because they're happy, and they're just loving it, and they really see that I have captured their vision. That's my opinion. On their end, when they have increased client inquiries, increased clients, they're making more money, people are booking them to speak, they can do different things. Those are the types of results that my clients look for. And that's what we achieve with brand development. We really package and position you so that you can be the thought leader and expert that you know you are, and that you want other people to see you as.
Do you when you meet with a client, do you identify what their desired outcomes are, and do you base the result on those outcomes?
I do. So, for example, with creative direction, usually the video shoot is kind of like a commercial. But if my client wants to be show that she works in a community of women, for example, then we'll bring in extras to show that vibe. It's not just her in a video; it's her showing that she's a community leader. So it's very specific based on what my clients are looking for. Even though the process is still the same, the way that it's achieved and the outcome is different.
That's great. Great information. So last week I was talking about winning, and I want to get your opinion on this because I'm going to be asking each guest that come on. When you talk about winning, what are some of the characteristics or some of the strategies that we all need to have, in your opinion, to win or to succeed at something that we've set out to do?
hmm A few that come into my head are to work with professionals. And I've seen for myself what it looks like when I work with professionals and when I don't. Another strategy to win is to invest in yourself.
Mm,
And so it's not just I'm going to go with the highest price. It means I'm going to identify the person do that can help me fulfill my vision. And it means prioritizing as well. And when you are building your brand, you have to prioritize. Some things do take a back burner. So, for example, if you are building a product based brand and you want a website, but you don't have products yet, you have to develop the products first. You have to get the packaging. You have to be ready. And that leads me to another strategy is that you have to be ready. You have to be ready. You don't know what people are going to ask you for. So even if you're not there yet, create it anyway. And that's how I think of brand development. I don't look at where my clients are. I look at where they want to be to create the image that by the time we're finished, they're going to be ready to embody. I don't if you've never for instance, if you've never had a speaking, never spoken at an event before, I'm going to position you so that when people see you, they're going to think that you already have, and so they can book you even more. So I always look at the potential of a client. So staying ready is a strategy that when you're building a brand or business, you have to have.
awesome. Thank you, Toni.
Mhm. Thank
So
you.
we're going to do two other things and then
Mhm.
we'll end.
Okay.
First, how can someone get a hold of you
hmm
if
I
they
am.
want to hire you or
Yep.
speak with you?
Okay. I am Brand Coach Toni everywhere. So Brand Coach Toni on Instagram. My website is Brand Coach Toni. Even my email address is brandcoachtoni@gmail.com. Since I also work with nonprofits at Skye Media Group, which is my own company, if you are a nonprofit and you're looking for a designer for your nonprofit, then it is skymediagroup.com or at Skye Media Group. And on LinkedIn, you can search for me by my name.
Okay, great. Second to last question. Why not include us men? What's going on, Toni? Jeez. What's going on?
It's so funny. The question is so funny because when I started my business, men were my only clients. I only had men as clients. But I think that as I started to, and on Skye Media Group's website, there are brands that I've done where men were involved. But I think that as my business grew, more women were attracted to me. I think that men feel that, possibly I design feminine. And so I can't design for them, but my design hand is strong. I just recently did branding for a barber that opened up a barber shop, and that was last year. No, I definitely design for men. It's just when you're talking about marketing, you can't market to everybody. It's I build personal brands for men, women, nonprofits, small businesses. You can't say that. You have to pick one, but if somebody that's why my branding is not overly feminine. If you were to look on my Instagram, you're seeing black, white, you're seeing brown, teal, you're seeing like those neutral colors. And of course, my pictures are still me. I'm a woman, so whatever. But the branding is not overly feminine. And if somebody likes what I'm saying, they have looked at everything, and they want to work with me, then they can, contact me. I think I will add a brand that I did for a man so that men won't feel left out because I definitely can design for men too.
Exactly. Don't leave us out, Toni. Don't leave us out. Right? We need help
Okay.
also. So
Yes, I've seen it. Yes, yes.
good. Toni, I will we do this what we call give you an opportunity. I'm going to give you 4 or 5 questions.
hmm
And this is what we want to do here is to really help our viewers and our listeners know who you are from a personal level.
Okay.
So the first one is your favorite food.
Pizza.
uh,
I love pizza.
Oh boy, you're gonna have someone in my household. My dear wife, she's gonna comment, say yeah, because that's her favorite food too.
I love
Favorite movie?
Love Jones.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So you're going back.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going back.
Nice. Great movie. Favorite place to vacation?
I haven't been there yet, but I do love California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite musical artist?
I'm going to say Maxwell.
Okay.
Mhm.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. All right, last one. Uh, what's the last book that you read?
I don't remember the name of it, but the Bible.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
That's an excellent one.
It is.
Great. Toni, you are off the hot seat. Thank you so much for joining me in the
Thank
30.
you.
We greatly appreciate it. Much success to you
Thank you.
and your team and your company. Feel free to come back and join us on the 30. You
Okay.
are welcome. You are now family.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for this interview. It was had a good time.
Great, great. So may God bless you and your family,
Thank
and we
you.
will touch base soon. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. So we've been talking to Toni Brown, and Toni is the founder and brand strategist and designer at Skye Media Group. You can contact her. Make sure that you are at, and her email address or her site is at Brand Coach Toni. So you can catch her on Instagram, on LinkedIn, at Brand Coach Toni. This is the 30. We want to thank you again for being here. Next week, we will have another guest as we continue the march to year 3 and episode 150. More information will be coming as we get closer to that date. We are now at episode 145. So mark your calendar in May. Actually, the time that we're going to do it, mark your calendar for May 25th. That's Thursday, May 25th, which we will celebrate our 3-year anniversary and our 150th episode. So until then, may God bless you and your family. We will see you around.